Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video I'm going to walk you through the S&P short that we took almost 24 hours ago and where we are sitting right now with this market and how this even got on my radar as a potential intraday short. Now I have a saying, sometimes the most bullish thing you can be is a near-term bear. In other words, to get that correction to a trend following buy, what I need near term is some weakness. And a lot of times that weakness can come by perhaps an overextended market or a market that just seems ready for a correction. And one of the things that I'm using are the top hats from John's current class. We take advantage of this to kind of give ourselves a heads up to a potential correction. Not a reversal, just a correction, a retracement, right? So I get my top hats, little pluses there on the daily. So the daily gets my attention, and then I start to scan for opportunities to short based upon the idea that we will retrace. Now, I know with every single top hat, we're not necessarily going to get a reversion to the mean, but I know that we could see at least an intraday rollover. So that's what I use. I use that top hat for an intraday rollover, which happened for us here on the 30-minute chart going into the close yesterday. Now, it triggered through some support, and you could have seen this on the 15-minute chart as well, but it triggered through some support and took us short into the Asian session. And it wasn't until this morning, and then we got the Apple gap down, and then we eventually the XLF, the financials rolled over too earlier. And the financials selling off again sure wouldn't hurt. You've seen the financials kind of climb up into the midday here. Now we're getting the this post midday, a little bit of strength. If we can sell off through 28, that'd be great. But my point is, the whole trade set up with the top hats on the daily chart of the ES. I kept an eye on Apple. I kept an eye on the XLF. Those are two of my favorite charts to keep an eye on, almost as indicators. I almost use them as an indicator. Take a look. I'll put the NQ or Apple and then the XLF, because that will give me insight oftentimes into the ES, because tech will obviously move the S&P, as will the financials. So the top hat prints, and then I'll start looking for a rollover. I got that rollover opportunity on a shorter term intraday chart that triggered yesterday into the close, kept it throughout the Asian session because we never did break the 26.98 stop loss. In other words, we stayed at or below yesterday's range highs. And then this morning, courtesy of Apple, and then the tech meltdown, and then the XLF, the financials followed suit. We had a very nice follow through to the 87 area. Now, what do I want to do with this eventually? I do want to buy into this. At some point, what I want to look at is a potential buy on a longer term time frame. And the one that I've got my eye on right now is either the 120 trend following buy on the pullback, or even the 60, but the 120 is the one that has my attention, because I really don't want to commit to longer term shorts in the S&P. I do think ultimately we will start to move back to the upside. So I want to be very cognizant of that. But in the meanwhile, this kind of gyrating that we're seeing on the ES, I think we'll probably sell off maybe one more time before the close, and then I'll wrap this trade up. But this was a trade that we started yesterday, followed through today, because we knew where our validity was, and then we knew what to watch for the follow through that we needed. And that's a big deal. All the signals, what did I use? Top hats to show me that we could correct today, which we did. Apple gap down, I'll keep an eye on that. The XLF, which contributed to the weakness. And so that's what brings me to what is going to be a nice winner here today going into the close. I'll see you in the next update.